You're looking into the eyes of a robot, and he's looking back at you. He's curious about who you are and what you're up to. This is Vector. This is a Kickstarter for Vector. He's a new creation from Anki.
He is a character, a robot that is meant to live in your home. He's always on, he's alive.
The idea is really that Vector becomes part of the family or that home, both on the emotional character side, but then also on the utility side.
Vector is really the first robot that uses advanced deep neural networks to do a lot of perception and understanding of the world around him.
What he does feels intentional. He can react to inputs in his environment and his life.
We generally want to find one defining feature and then build from that. For Vector, curiosity was a big one.
What they're saying is you officially live in a time when robot sidekicks are a real thing.
Hey, Vector, give me a fist bump.
It's a step closer to that sci-fi robot, that everyone wants to be friends with.
That step closer means you've got a robot in your house waiting for you to get home. Autonomous like a Mars rover, aware enough to avoid falls like a tightrope walker, and always excited to welcome you home like a loyal companion.
What's up, Vector?
Jason.
Vector's no slouch roommate either. He's happiest when he's helping out. Ask him the weather, and he'll show you. He can set a timer and cause a commotion when it's finished. Activate robot alarm. And he can connect his robot brain to the internet to answer your questions.
Definition of life, the characteristic state in the world of living.
He's a little robot who brings a lot to your house. He's also a little robot with nearly 700 parts. That one right there, that's his soul part. Okay, I made that one up, but the little guy's got soul. Let's get someone in here to tell him what all this stuff actually does. How does he hear?
Vector has a microphone array, which allows it to hear voices and noises and understand where it came from.
What's he used to see?
Vector uses a wide-angle camera.
Why doesn't he fall off the table?
4 drop sensors.
How come he doesn't bump into stuff?
Has this laser distance sensor right here in the front.
Whoa, robot lasers? How do we know he won't use that for evil?
We have a very strict quality control process to make sure that no evil robotic overlords emerge from Vector.
This thing is just awesome.
There's got to be a huge amount of code inside the robot.
There is a huge amount of code inside the robot. It's a few million lines of code at this point. That software really encompasses everything from the character to the low-level operating system to the cloud functionality.
He has a camera in his face, and that's actually one of his primary sensors. Not just capturing the light in all the pixels, but it's making sense of those pixels. He knows what it is and where the stuff is.
That code creates his intelligence and his personality.
We think both about the IQ and the intelligence as well as the EQ and the emotion.
You feel something for him. You bond with him, relate with him, care about him, and you feel that he can relate to you and give you something back.
He is your friend. He was built to help and delight and entertain you.
That is delightful and entertaining. So instead of sitting back and waiting for the robot apocalypse, Anki is making super smart robots built to bring joy and companionship to humans. Did I mention he likes to be pet? I know. Anki's been at this for a while. First, they made Drive and Overdrive, games where you race against robot car opponents. And then Cosmo, a toy robot that plays games and teaches kids to code. Vector is their 4th product, and he's already in production. So why Kickstarter?
I think for Kickstarter especially, being able to have access to more technical users that understand a little bit more about what's going on and can give us really critical feedback that we can then use to incorporate into updates.
We expect over the next few years to develop function after function after function, making a deeper character, implement more characterful utility function, and so forth.
There is no community out there that's better than Kickstarter for bringing these people together that have a passion for defining what that future looks like and embracing the kind of events along the way that help define where we're going.
Right now, Vector's going to bed. What he does next is up to you. Back this Kickstarter today to get your robot early and join a Kickstarter exclusive group that will help shape Vector's development roadmap and maybe our entire robot future.
Tennis is one of the greatest sports of all time. The feeling you get when you hit that perfect shot or kick serve down the line is indescribable. Perfecting these shots takes countless hours of practice, and with that comes the inevitable chore of picking up hundreds of tennis balls scattered all over the court. Players and coaches everywhere know the frustration and tediousness that goes into collecting balls during a practice session. And this is why we invented Tenabot. Tenabot is the world's first robotic ball collector. Tenabot perfectly integrates computer vision and artificial intelligence to detect tennis balls on the court and collect them for players. You can let Tenabot work autonomously using the station that easily attaches to the net post, or use Tenabot's app to customize where on the court the device will clear. Tenabot easily syncs to your phone and even your Apple Watch to make activation quick and seamless. The app also keeps track of how many balls are collected during a session and how often you practice. So feel free to brag to your friends about how you're stepping up your game while never having to pick up another tennis ball. Tenabot was designed with convenience in mind. The removable bucket holds up to 80 balls and lets you easily continue your hitting session after Tenabot has cleared the court. The battery takes only 90 minutes to charge and runs for 4 to 5 hours. Its portable design lets you pick up Tenabot and wheel it on and off the court, just like a suitcase. And when you're done, Tenabot's compact size makes it easy to fit in the trunk of your car. So, instead of picking up balls, players can relax, hydrate, or just keep playing.
We have created multiple prototypes of Tenabot and performed thousands of tests to come up with the perfect training partner. With Tenabot's patented design and advanced algorithms, we can make tennis more convenient for players at all levels.
Whether you're hitting with a ball machine, volleying with a friend, or giving a lesson, Tenabot helps you get the most out of your time on the court.
Our dream is to get more people playing tennis, having fun, and improving their shots, whether it's a forehand, backhand, or a kick serve. We have a great product, an amazing team, and we can't wait to put the Tenabot in your hands. But we need your help. In order to start manufacturing and shipping worldwide, we need a large enough order. Together, we can kickstart this revolutionary product and take the tedious out of tennis.
Home of Modular Robotics, and there are 40 people inside working to build the future filled with thousands and thousands of tiny robots. Come, see Modular Robotics.
When Modular Robotics launched Cubelets, we wanted to build a construction kit for children and grown-ups to build and play with robots by snapping together blocks. We were so successful at that, we were so satisfied, and it was so much fun to watch children playing with robots they made on their kitchen table, in schools and museums, that we decided we wanted to take that fun to the next level.
2.5 years ago, we began work on the design for a new robot construction kit. We're launching on Kickstarter because we wanted to give our fans and community the opportunity to get started building before we launch in stores. We make all of our robots at our little factory in Boulder, Colorado, which is awesome, but we don't pump out toys at the same speed as companies who outsource to big Chinese contract manufacturers. If you back our Kickstarter campaign, you'll get to start building before anyone else. This is fun. After years of design and keeping this a secret, we'd like you to meet Moss.
Moss is a construction kit for you to imagine, design, build, and play with robots.
We designed Moss using everything we learned from Cubelets. We took all the robotic complexity inside, the microcontrollers, motors, H-bridges, signal filters, the whole deal, and boiled it down to elegant little blocks with simple connecting faces.
There's no complicated computer code or programming or wiring or soldering. You just pick the parts up and you're making robots out of the box.
We used a single button contact to transfer power and data while the ground passes through the steel spheres. All the circuit boards in Moss double as planar wires, delivering power, ground, and data right where they're needed.
One of the coolest parts of Moss is the connection system with these little steel spheres. There are tiny magnets in the corners of each module, and by snapping them together, you can create all sorts of joints. With one sphere, you get a universal joint. With 2, you get a hinge. And with 3 or 4, a rigid connection. The properties of these little fiddly bits let you build some pretty cool kinematic constructions.
The neodymium rare earth magnets are overmolded directly into the plastic during the injection molding process, so they won't ever break out and cause a problem.
We've designed a huge pile of different modules so you can build robots that drive, wiggle, detect objects, grab them, and then react to the world around them. If you snap on the Bluetooth module, you can pair with your phone or computer and remote control or reprogram the modules in your robot.
I think one of the many things that makes Moss really fun to play with is the magnetic connection system. Magnets are magic. It's force acting at a distance. When you snap these parts together, the click, the feel, the magnets, it's really magical. And I could play with Moss for hours on end just playing with the parts.
I can't even look at the camera, I'm so excited. I've never seen anything like this. This blows me away. Just the amount of doors it opens up to just wild creativity. I love the tactile feedback. I love how it feels.
I've always been totally fascinated with this idea of software wrapped in plastic and the integration of hardware and software. And Moss is a great way for somebody to be able to explore hardware and software in a very accessible way with gazillions of different configurations.
This is super cool. I want one. Can you give me this one? I want it.
We're about to start Moss production here at Modular Robotics, and we've been working hard over the last few months to prepare assembly procedures for Moss, as well as preparing our facility to handle the new product. Like Cublets, we will be doing all of our assembly at our robot shop in Boulder, Colorado, and that's very important to us, to be able to have that direct communication with the engineering team.
At launch, we'll be releasing some really cool mobile apps so you can control Moss with your smartphone or your tablet. Over time, we will add new apps that will really expand what you can do with Moss. Things like graphing data or creating your own drag and drop dashboard.
We've built apps that let you display and graph Moss sensor values, draw Etch-a-Sketch style.
Basically, you'll be able to customize your app for your construction.
We're launching with 3 different Moss core kits, small, medium, and large versions. These prototypes are black with some Easter eggy face colors simply because that's how test shots come out of the injection molding machines. We haven't decided on the final colors for the core kits, but they're definitely not going to be one of the blue and gray battle robot colors or some Roy G. Biv crap. But we're not stopping at just the core kits. We're also launching the first kit in the Artist series, the Shogun tank designed by Huck Gee, one of my favorite artists. It's custom printed, iPhone controllable, and is full of Huck's crazy Skull Kid style. And did I mention it shoots Nerf darts? Our specification calls for accuracy to hit a cat-sized target from 3 meters away. I'm totally amped to finally introduce you to Moss. By supporting our Kickstarter, you'll be the first to begin building thousands of tiny robots.